Hello you fantastic people and welcome back to Borderlands 3. Hope you guys are all doing well. In this video I've got a super exciting one for you guys today, which I'm so keen to bring to you. This one is my level 65 Mayhem 10 Alpha Flak Fadeaway crit build, which is an absolute monster. It's easily my best flak build whatsoever. It's the one I use every single day and it's so much fun to use. It absolutely destroys any mobbing situation and any bossing situation. Nothing stands a chance in this game against flak. I'll start by showing some clips on screen so you guys can admire how much damage this thing does against so many different bosses, so many different mobbing situations with so many different weapons. It's kind of ridiculous. That's my favorite thing about this build. It doesn't matter if you have DLC or don't have any DLC. This thing doesn't rely on any gimmicks, no particular DLC items, anything like that. If you guys don't have DLC, you'll be able to rock it entirely with just base game items, and if you guys have DLC, then you'll just have a wider variety of weapons to choose from. Alpha Flak essentially just takes any weapon and just makes it better. So if you guys have any viable weapon in Borderlands 3 Mayhem 10, this build can rock it and will rock it with absolute style. I should also mention there won't be any DLC for bosses in these clips, by the way. I know the DLC only came out a few days ago, so just to avoid spoiling anything for anyone, I kept those bosses out of there. There is DLC for weapons in the inventory, but there's no boss spoilers for you guys, just so I'd let you know. But in this video, I'm going to go over the gear you guys want to get, what the best ones to look out for, base game and DLC as well, the anointments you guys want to look out for, as well as the beautiful level 65 skill tree, which makes flak so damn strong, as well as the mayhem modifiers you guys want to go for, depending on what kind of situation you're in, bossing, mobbing, particular weapons, etc. But yeah, like I said, I absolutely love this build. It is my main flak build. I've probably made 15-20 flak builds on this channel by now, and I love all of them. But if I'm using one all the time, on stream, off stream, farming for gear, for different builds, etc., this is the build I use. It is a fadeaway flak build. It is primarily a 3-shot fadeaway. That is how it is set up, but it's absolutely no stress. If you guys want to use gorillas in the mist, you can totally just switch for that, and you would just change what anointment you want to use. And if you really want, you can switch this to a rack attack build if you would like to, but in this video I'm going to show you guys how to set up for 3-shot fadeaway. Now usually I don't get this build out for you guys until at least a week or two after the level cap comes out, but I went absolutely ham since that level cap and update DLC came out, and just have been farming like crazy with pretty much next to no breaks to try and get the absolute best build for you guys ready on the first weekend, so you guys can try it out for yourselves. There will be a PC save file as always for my builds in the description if you guys want to check that one out. You are more than welcome to. Apologies for console, I can't help you guys out yet, but crossplay is coming. That was just announced yesterday, by the way, so hopefully soon I will be able to help you guys out. But yeah, in the last few days I've just been going crazy farming all the bosses in this game, getting all the new DLC 4 weapons, comparing them to the DLC 3 ones, as well as comparing them to all the recently buffed base game weapons, which are doing a crazy amount of damage and honestly outclassing most DLC weapons at the moment. But yeah, hopefully the clips have been doing this build justice on screen, so you guys can see how much damage this thing does in bossing and mobbing situations. Even in the takedowns, this fadeaway flak build is pretty survivable as well, which I know, a little bit crazy, but it actually does pretty well in there. You don't actually go down too often, particularly for flak standards. But yeah, let's jump into the weapons for you guys, starting with the anointments you guys want to go for. If you're going to set it up like myself and go for a 3-shot fadeaway, which is what I'd recommend, it does the most amount of damage and helps out your survivability as well. I would go for consecutive hits anoints for high fire rate weapons or things like shotguns with a lot of pellets. Otherwise, 100% ASC is a really good anointment to have, or next to max elemental damage is a really good one as well. If you guys want to go gorillas in the mist flak, then go for a 200% while action skills active anoint. That helps a lot and does a ton of damage. Of course, you're going to lose the damage after you finish your fadeaway, but if you guys get some action skill cooldown quickly with a shotgun or something like that, then hopefully you'll be able to loop that back super quick. But yeah, those are probably the only anointments I'd recommend for this build at the moment. As for weapons, starting with my absolute favorite ones, the Lacho from DLC 3 is absolutely amazing. This thing is a mini monarch. You can jump around, you're not slowed down like you are with a monarch with the bipod mode on. It does a ton of damage, and it's just ridiculously good at getting leave no trace and head count to proc, so it's really good at getting your fadeaway back on a loop all the damn time. And it's a super high fire rate, higher damage weapon, so where are you going wrong there, honestly? As well as the Chaos, pretty much the same situation. It's not multi-pellet, but it's a super fast fire rate. It's in base game, which is really good. It does a ton of damage as of the patch or hotfix a week or two ago now. It is so damn good. And my favorite part about this thing is that like a laser shot assault rifle. It's so good. I very rarely use dull assault rifles, but since this patch I had to include this in the build. It does a ton of damage and would highly recommend you guys checking it out, particularly if you guys don't have DLC. This is like top 5 weapons guaranteed. Another one in the top 5, honestly, would be closer to a top 3, maybe even top 2, is the Hellwalker. This is easily the best shotgun in the game. It is factually, like stats wise, hits the hardest by far. Times 25 stagecoaches don't even come close to the Hellwalker at the moment, which is crazy. The stagecoach actually isn't in this build for once, not because I couldn't find it, because there was really no point. This thing does easily double damage, and if you get 100% ASC on this thing, or next to mags anoint, or a URAD anoint, or consecutive hits anoint, they just hit like crazy. One ding everything in this game and destroy bosses as well. A new one from DLC 4, the Convergence, is a really awesome shotgun. It's by Hyperion, and it's probably my second favorite shotgun in the game right now. It does a ton of damage. Problem is, it is super difficult to get yourselves a good roll. This is the only one I've managed to get so far since the DLC has been out. I might make a whole build once I get a ton of them together for you guys to show them off properly. But so far, this one absolutely destroys any flesh bosses. As for the backpack, we've got a new DLC 4 critical pistol. This thing does a ton of damage and has sticky mode. I would recommend for mobbing situations, and then impact for anything else, mobbing and bossing. The light shows, of course, we've got a couple different elemental types. The Hellshock does a ton of damage still. Same as the Beacon from DLC 3, they're pretty much on par with each other. The Hellshock, though, being from base game, is amazing. The Maggie, of course, still doing a ton of damage as per usual. The Kerosene, this one is actually not a very good roll whatsoever. It's not even an elemental type. I literally was just farming Traunt for the clips in this video, and I got this one and I thought I'd try it out. And I don't know if I've included it yet, but I will now to show you guys. This thing actually does a fair bit of damage, so if you guys want to farm a good Kerosene, it would work very well in this build as well. Another one is the Blood-Starved Beast from DLC 4. This thing is amazing, extremely hard to get a good one for you guys, but this one does a ton of damage against, of course, armored enemies. I couldn't get a fantastic anoint. 300 over 90 was all I was going to be able to get for you guys for this build, but I'd highly recommend you guys farming a good one, particularly maybe like a fire one for mobbing situations mostly, because it does run out of bullets really quick for bossing situations. The Flipper, of course, an absolute staple for pretty much any build at the moment. DLC 3 weapon just absolutely wrecks. A 100% ASE or 200% ASA hyper focus destroys a ton of bosses. If you guys can get yourself a fire one, it'll definitely one clip Grave Ward. If you can get a corrosive one, it will one clip the top half of Wotan, guaranteed with this build. It's amazing. Again, some more Keroses here, does a ton of damage. The Breath of Dying is amazing. Those blobs will one-shot anything in this game. You can practically one-shot the bottom half of Wotan with one blob. It's ridiculous. I have a clip on it on my Twitch channel. It's ridiculous. Monarchs, of course, do a ton of damage as per usual since they came out. More down, we've got a Sickle. We've got 100% ASC. This one's amazing. And look at the damage difference between this to a Boom Sickle. It's 3 times, more than 3 times the damage of it. This thing is amazing for bossing. This one's amazing for mobbing situations. The Lob, still hitting super, super hard. The Reflux, I personally only use this for mobbing situations in the Guardian takedown, because I'd rather use other weapons in anywhere else, but it does a ton of damage if you guys want to run Guardian takedown. The Major Kong from DLC 4 is pretty much the new Yellow Cake. It's the hardest hitting rocket launcher right now, and one-shots Grave Ward. It one-shots pretty much any boss at the moment, to be honest, as long as it doesn't have an immunity stage. The Monocool is the only sniper rifle, Jacob sniper rifle I put in the build, because I want to make a Jacob sniper or just Jacob's build coming up soon. But as you know, the Monocool from the buff a couple weeks ago hits like a truck. It's ridiculous. The Lyudas, likewise, that buff really brought that one back up into the best guns in the game. I was going to say snipers, but I mean just guns in the game. Krakatoa, likewise, still does a ton of damage. Now, moving on to shields. The one that I'm currently rocking is a stopgap with 25% extra capacity with a 50k total capacity. It's ridiculous. It's a super big stopgap. Of course, the immunity stage really helps with flak survivability. You don't have to have that anoint on there if you don't want. It's actually the only stopgap with the extra capacity I've found has an anoint, so just kind of worked out. But if you have that on there, 3-shot fadeaway really benefits. It's essentially like spamming a rack attack with that anoint. You're pretty much immortal. 3-shot fadeaway, not quite immortal, but it definitely makes you way more survivable. Other options, just of course, a regular stopgap is around 36k. A Transformer, fantastic for the melee one takedown, bullet absorb and the shock absorb into shield capacity is really good if you want to chuck on pool party. Also makes you pretty much immortal in the melee 1 takedown. And the last one I keep on me at all times is the Old God. This one's still a level 61, but any level 65 one I've seen so far has a minimum of 4k less capacity. So I figured I may as well just keep the level 61 in here for the save file for you guys. This one I only use for bossing, so the capacity actually doesn't bother me. I'm just using it for that extra fire damage to do a ton of damage against flesh bosses. As for grenades, I've been using cloning or mitosis hunter seekers a ton recently. I got a ton of them out of the vending machines because those are so easy to get out of there now. Those are really good for stacking the pearl. It's amazing. Really good for bossing situations. Power Siphon Transfusion Tracker is a staple in this build for survivability for flak. Just spam those and you'll get a bunch of health back into your actual health, as well as shield back into your shield when you damage enemies. We also have some extra cloning hunter seekers with ASC elemental types, as well as a P grenade. This thing is amazing for bossing situations as well. As for class mods, the bounty hunter is easily the strongest flak class mod at the moment. It does a ton of damage against bossing and mobbing situations, essentially because flak has a 3% chance to activate any purchase hunt skill when dealing gun damage. Essentially, you get kill skills in bossing situations, which is crazy strong, as well as bosses are now treated as humans, beasts, and robotics as our flak's hunt skills, which I'll explain a bit in a second. We have heaps of these. As you guys can see, pretty much any situation, any weapon combo, we have passives for it in the save file for you guys. I use all of these. I switch out depending on what weapon I am using. As for the artifact, I'm definitely using the bell. It's the strongest artifact in the game. Still, it is a DLC 2 item. Unfortunately, if you guys do not have DLC, don't stress though. I would highly recommend using a Snowdrift Auto Idol or a Snowdrift Victory Rush if you guys are doing mobbing situations in particular, or if you guys are going for a bossing situation, I'll go an Elemental Projector and proc yourself with an Elemental type that does a ton of damage as well. I also always keep a cut person launchpad on me at all times, particularly in the Guardian takedown. If you run out of ammo, literally just jump up in the air and then slam down, and it'll literally get you ammo back in the gun you're holding. It's an amazing trick. I don't know why it's a thing, but I dig it. Now for the good stuff, the level 65 Fadeaway Flak skill tree is so damn strong, it's ridiculous. Starting with the green tree, put a point, of course, into Fadeaway, not a point, just select Fadeaway. Then go down to Not My Circus and Unblinking Eye. Essentially, when you're in Fadeaway, when Fadeaway ends, Flak's pet will taunt, drawing attention of all enemies at a huge radius, which is really good for survivability and your damage because of other skills. Then Unblinking Eye, successive, if I can speak, hits increases your critical hit damage by 75% per hit, stacks 3 times, which is really strong. As for your skill points, put 5 points in Furious Attack, damaging enemies, literally gives you more damage. It's fantastic. Moving down, you got 5 points into Overclock, increased fire rate means more damage. I would definitely put it in there. 3 points in Turn Tail and Run, increase health and damage reduction while you're moving. Then try and stand still in bossing situations because you actually get increased gun damage and fire rate, which is really good. I always put a point in the Lick the Wounds, up to you guys, but flak goes down from stupid things like barrels, Mayhem 10 scaled rocket launches, and just random elemental dots, which I have no idea where they come from. But it's really good to have a pet there to pick you up if there's no enemies in sight. To get down to the next level, I put 1 point originally, then eventually 3 points total into self-repairing system. A little bit of extra health and health regen is always good for flak because he is a bit of a squishy boy. That gets us down to the Fast and the Furious. 3 points in there for some gun damage, pet damage, and movement speed. All great things. Then over to Hidden Machine, 5 points in here. 30% increased gun damage when enemies are not targeting flak or attacking a different target. That is essentially where Not My Circus comes into play. When you go out of Fadeaway, first of all, if you're in Fadeaway, no one can see you, so you're getting that bonus. Then, once you go out, Not My Circus will proc. Flak's pet will taunt everybody, and they'll be attacking pet, not you. So again, you're still getting that bonus. If you can get Fadeaway on a loop quick enough and often enough, you're going to be getting that 30% bonus all the time. That'll get you down to the power inside. Put a point in there, of course. Green Tree Capstone is super strong. Flak and Flak's pet can increase 25% damage whenever Flak activates his action skill for 15 seconds, which is a super long time. If Flak's health is at full health, when you activate your action skill, you get an extra 50% extra damage just for activating your action skill. And it's for 15 seconds. We're doing 3-shot Fadeaway. You're going to be getting that back faster in a 15-second time frame if you're doing it correctly, which means you're getting that 50% all the damn time, which is really, really strong. Over to the red tree, put 3 points into Leave No Trace. This is an amazing flak ability. Essentially, hitting a critical hit, you have a 36% chance to add a bullet back into the magazine of your gun, which is really, really good. For example, a Hellwalker shotgun has 10 pellets. Each individual pellet counts as a single shot, a single critical hit, so all of them have a 36% chance. AKA, if you're in Fadeaway and you're using the Hellwalker, you are guaranteed to put a bullet back in your magazine if you hit an enemy, which is really, really good. Put 5 points into Interplanetary Stalker. It is a kill skill ability for flak and does a ton of extra damage. Hunter's Eye is really good for bossing and mobbing situations as well, but because you're using the Bounty Hunter class mod, bosses are treated as humans, robots, and beasts, so you're getting all of those bonuses against all bosses, which is really, really good. We've got an extra 2 in there from our class mod, which boosts it a little bit more. You guys probably don't want any more than 2 Hunter's Eye if you can manage it, because you want to try and get as much into the most dangerous game as possible, which is this kill skill right here. It is super, super strong. It is flak's best kill skill by far. With an extra 3 points in there, 6 total, you get 50% extra gun damage, 20% extra critical hit damage, handling pet damage for 120 seconds, which is a really, really long time. Also put 3 points into Big Game, and then 1 very cheap 15% critical hit damage in Galactic Shadow right here. Then to get down to the capstone, I put 2 points into Second Intention for a little bit of extra reload speed. It is super annoying when I'm stuck in the middle of a mobbing situation and I'm reloading, so I put an extra 2 points there. If you guys don't want to, you can put 2 points into Grim Harvest if you want, for a little bit of extra gun damage and pet damage if you want. Action skill damage does not count for flak's Fadeaway. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comment section, but I'm pretty sure that it does not. It's only for rack attack. Two Fang, I don't recommend it for this build because I'm using a lot of multi-projectile weapons, but if you want to use this build solely with like SMGs that only have 1 pellet, assault rifles with only 1 pellet, sniper rifles, etc., then put points into Two Fang instead. That gets us down to Megavore. This is amazing skill tree capstone. 20% of the time, hitting anywhere on the body will hit a critical hit. It's amazing. Then over to Blue Tree, which I'm super keen to show you guys. We have enough points to get down to Frenzy, which is crazy, crazy strong. Put 3 points into Persistent Hunter, increases your action skill duration and gun damage. Use that duration to get into spots for hitting critical hits, survivability purposes, all that good stuff. Then 2 points into Ferocity, increases pet damage by 20%. I think it's personally better than Go for the Eyes. You choose whichever one you want. To get down to Frenzy, 5 points in here is amazing. Essentially, whenever flak's pet damages an enemy, you get an extra Frenzy stack. Each stack of Frenzy is 4% damage, stacks up to 10 times. At max stacks, which happens all the time, is 40% increased damage. That is better than the Green Tree capstone, unless you're at full health, which does happen from time to time, but it's not every single time. So Frenzy is happening all the time. You don't have to activate your action skill. It's just up all the time in mobbing situations in particular. Now a skill to combine with this is He Bites. This essentially means any pet can rock this ability really, really good. Essentially, whenever flak's pet takes damage, the pet returns some of that damage to the attacker, and that stacks Frenzy. The best pet to stack Frenzy for you is the Jabber, because he uses a gun. He can shoot from a distance. He's not a single fire blob shooting spider ant. He's not a melee attacking skag, so he can go from anywhere and just shoot them with an SMG. But if you guys are in Melee 1 Takedown or Guardian Takedown, I would recommend either of the other 2 pets because they provide better bonuses. For example, the Great Horn Skag gives you a total of 15% extra damage, 10% gun, 5% regular damage, and he can use He Bites to stack Frenzy really quickly because everyone is attacking him because we're using Not My Circus, this ability right here. Likewise, with the Spider Ant, he gives you a good 10% elemental damage bonus and 1% max health per second. Essentially, the only reason I use the Gunslinger Jabber is in bossing situations, essentially because those bosses aren't going to hurt your pet regularly enough to stack Frenzy quick enough to get it up to 10, whereas the Jabber jumps straight into the arena, starts shooting his SMG and stacks it up immediately. For example, the time it takes for Grave War to do the little platform thing, pet's already stacked it for you, so you can instantly go from max stacks of Frenzy and do your maximum amount of damage. As for Mayhem modifiers, it's not exactly what's down here. I spent literally 45 minutes rolling these things, but this video was going to be too late, so I just settled for these, but I'll show you guys the ones I recommend. Holy Crit is definitely the one I go for. Getting an extra 25% increased damage is really, really good. It is reducing it by 50% if you're not hitting critical hits. That's why I combine it with Galaxy Brain. It's really good, particularly with shotguns, the Monarch, the Lacho, anything like that that has a widespread shot. By all of the enemies having a huge head, you can get up nice, close and personal, get all 10 shots or 10 pellets of a Hellwalk, and it absolutely annihilates enemies. You get more critical hits, even if you're not using Holy Crit. Galaxy Brain is a fantastic one because you're getting all of those critical hits. You're getting action skill cooldown, you're getting bullets back in your mag with ease, and you're just doing a ton of damage. As for the other two, Drone Ranger is a really good one. Screw Freeze Tag. Do not use that. I hate it. Super annoying. I just couldn't get rid of it. I spent way too long and I just left it there. Healy Avenger is the immediate modifier I would recommend. Combine that with Drone Ranger. It is pretty much the god roll of Mayhem modifiers for this build. Drone Ranger and Healy Avenger are so slow and don't really affect mobs or bosses, to be honest, because you're doing so much damage. They don't have a chance to heal the enemies that you're versing. So they're pretty much just neutral modifiers. They don't hurt the build. They don't make it easier for the enemies. They don't make them stronger, etc. So that would be the Mayhem modifiers I'd recommend for this build. But yeah, that is everything I have for my level 65 Mayhem 10 Alpha Flak Fadeaway Crit build. Really hope you guys did find this video helpful or enjoyable. If you did, don't forget to smash subscribe down below. I'd really, really appreciate it. If you guys want to hit that bell, YouTube will notify you for whenever I post a video. I'm going to make a ton of new builds. Gamma Flak is fingers crossed up next. Rack Attack as well. And a whole bunch of variety builds, particularly with that cool new class mod that just came out. Did a ton of work putting this build together for you guys on the first weekend, so I really hope you guys do enjoy it. Don't forget there is a save file down below in the description. If you guys want to help me out even more, you can smash the like button down below, share with your friends, and if you guys have any questions or weapon recommendations or anything like that, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. I'd love to read them. If you guys want to check us out over on Twitch, I live stream every day just after I post my YouTube videos. We usually hang out, make builds, check out new buffed weapons, and just have a good time hanging out with chat. That's always linked down below, or just search Cody McHugh on Twitch. Other than that, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I shall see you guys next video and I'll live stream. Till then, adios.